She lifted her hand. I winced. Flashback, to about 3 years ago, I was in a relationship with this girl who I loved so much. I would have done everything I could for her, and I always did. I did my best to keep her happy, but she was going through her own personal battles. She lost her dad before we started dating, and her mom died of cancer while we were dating. She faced a lot, and I tried to comfort her. I think that maybe I started doing too much, because eventually my parents started getting stricter on me, and I used to disobey them to try to make her happy. Fast forward a few months, and there was this one time where she got mad because I didn't tell her I was preparing a surprise gift for her. She got mad, tore up the gift and broke everything in it that could have been broken. My eyes got watery at how she treated something I worked hard for. She told me to stop being a little BTCH and punched me in the face. This caught me off guard as she had never done this before. But this was just the start. Every day or two, she would proceed to punch me in the face or anywhere else 2 or 3 times a day. And I would just take it. I never argued about it, and I never mentioned it to anyone. There were several times that I seemed bruised, but I would just say that I got it while training. I had started getting into working out. She had gone from being extremely emotionally abusive to physically, and I didn't know how to handle it. I wanted to leave, but I was scared to, as she had always wanted to kill herself, and I never wanted that to happen. I stayed for 2 years, until she went abroad to study. This is when I finally got to see how it felt to live without the constant fear of pain. Now back to the present day. I met this wonderful and perfect girl who has made me beyond happy. One day she was turning really quickly to ask me a question, with her hand up. I instantly jumped away to that, and she looked at me confused. My eyes instantly got watery, and she began asking what had happened. I opened up to her for the first time about it, and I feel relieved. I just feel terrible knowing that this is how I might react to sudden movements for a long time. TLDR, ex-girlfriend was emotionally and physically abusive. New girlfriend moved suddenly, and I jumped away and teared up. Opened up about my past.
I was kidnapped when I was 8 and held in captivity for 3 years. I 26F was picked up by a stranger from school posing to be my dad's friend, saying that he would drop me off to the airport to catch a flight with my dad. Not only did I actually have to travel with my dad that day, but this man somehow knew my dad was getting off early from work, he told me that morning, and that he had to go fishing with his friend. He did this a lot. He told me that my dad sent him to pick me up and meet him directly at the airport. I believed him, convinced my teachers I knew him, because I was excited to go the airport, and left with him. I was held in captivity for 3 years. I was raped, beaten, starved. 11-year-old me had learned to make him trust me. It started with us going around in his car, although I had to sit in the back seat and stay quiet the whole time. He let me come into his kitchen and make food for myself. He let me clean his house. The day we went to feed the ducks at the park, I ran. I ran as fast as my weak legs could carry me, because of the crowd. I think he lost me. I begged a family for help, telling them I was kidnapped and I wanted to go home. I told them my name, my school's name, and my parents' names. Long story short, they caught him. He killed himself. I was back with my dad, my sisters, my dogs. I'm now happily married to my wife of 4 years, still undergoing therapy, have a good job, and a baby on the way. Edit. I'm very sorry for the last line. I realize it doesn't end well for most, and I got lucky. But the only way I kept going was telling myself, I'm going to escape. And then, I'm going to get better, I'm going to love myself again, I'm going to get past my trauma. Since this worked for me, I assumed saying, it will end well, would work for other people too. Of course it wasn't right though.